During times of war, nations need more than soldiers on the front lines. They need their citizens at home to rally behind the cause. But what was one of the most powerful tools for financing war efforts? It was war bonds. These bonds weren't just a way to fund armies, they became a symbol of unity, sacrifice, and hope in some of history's darkest times. What exactly are they, and why did people line up to buy them? War bonds are a type of debt security issued by governments to fund military operations during times of war. Essentially, when you buy a war bond, you're lending money to your country with the promise that you will get it back, plus interest, after the war ends. But war bonds were more than just financial tool. They represented a pact between the government and its people. Buying a bond wasn't just an investment, it was a declaration of support for the troops and a belief in the nation's ability to endure and triumph. The concept of war bonds gained prominence during World War I. The United States issued its first series of Liberty bonds to help fund the war. These campaigns were supported by powerful marketing, with slogans like "Every bond you buy brings victory closer." So, how did they actually work? Let's say you bought $100 worth of war bonds for $75. The government would promise to pay you back the full $100 after a set number of years. While you waited, you would earn no interest, but the lower upfront cost meant you would still make a profit after the end. During World War II, US Treasury issued over 8 series of bonds. By the war's end, Americans had purchased more than $185 billion worth of war bonds. That's the equivalent to trillions in today's money. The bonds didn't just help the United States. Britain, Canada, and other allied nations also relied heavily on similar programs to sustain their military campaigns. For many, the bonds weren't about the financial gain, they were about doing something tangible to support the war effort. The bonds became a badge of honor, a sign that you were contributing to the fight for freedom. The war bonds weren't also just about economics, like I said, they were also about morale. Bond campaigns brought communities together, fostering a sense of shared sacrifice and responsibility. Even children participated by buying war stamps, which could then be saved up in exchange for bonds. They also symbolized unity across social classes. Whether you were a factory worker, a farmer, or a Wall Street executive, you could contribute to the fight. The campaigns transcended the socio-economic barriers and brought a sense of purpose to millions. Posters and illustrations of war bonds weren't just advertisements, they were also a work of art, designed to inspire and motivate. Iconic images like the "We Can Do It" poster and the Norman Rockwell Four Freedoms paintings became symbol of eras, driving the importance of collective effort. Today, war bond posters and memorabilia are prized by collectors and displayed in museums, serving as reminders of the creativity and resilience of those who lived through global conflicts. In the history of war bonds, we see more than numbers and finances. We see hope, resilience, and the power of ordinary people to make an extraordinary difference. It's a story of how citizens turn financial support into moral support, and how communities turn bonds into bridges to victory. And while the era of traditional war bonds may have faded, the concept has re-emerged in modern times. In 2022, as Ukraine faced the devastating invasion by Russia, the Ukrainian government turned to war bonds to fund its defense. These bonds, available to both domestic and international investors, were a call for financial solidarity. Ukraine issued billions in bonds to cover military expenses, from equipment to humanitarian aid. These bonds function similarly to those of the past, offering investors a chance to support the nation by promising a return after the conflict. Modern war bonds show how this historical tool can adapt to new challenges. What other untold stories of history fascinates you? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video to keep the past up alive. And as always, this is HistoryCrafts, where history crafts itself.